So I want to do a video today just basically on the stuff that I carry in the RZR in case of a breakdown, in case somebody else needs help, you come across somebody stranded, you need a tow. Basically I put together a tool bag with different things in there in case something happens. Hopefully I can get us out of a situation. When we go out of state, I do take even more stuff, which doesn't really necessarily stay in the RZR, but it might be in the bed of the pickup truck. And I won't even ever take it out unless I need it. And the cooler, I have 3 different coolers for this, kind of just depending on where we're going or what kind of riding we're doing. This is actually bought this cooler. It's a little Yeti 8, and it's really nice because it's really small. And actually I didn't buy this for the RZR initially. I bought it for the adventure bike. I'll be doing a review on that and the camping gear setup. But originally this is what I bought it for, was for that. So we like to barbecue and take beer and stuff like that, even camping off the back of the bike. So this was a nice little size that you can actually strap back there and it doesn't look completely ridiculous. And this is also good for just day riding in the RZR out at Glamis, just for drinks if we're not packing any food. Otherwise I've got a bigger cooler, that soft Arctic right there, if we're gonna do a picnic or something like that. And I also have a hard cooler, which we might put more food and drinks in if we're gonna go out and do a picnic ride and need a kind of a hard top to set up food and sandwiches and stuff like that on. So this is an Assault Industries bag. I like that it was form fit to the bed of the RZR. It's made out of pretty nice material. It's fairly weather resistant. Definitely seems to keep sand and dust and stuff like that out. I don't know how weatherproof it'd be in the rain, but again, it's a nice thick padded. Show you what's up in the front zipper. Here, if you haven't seen these before, I have 2 different sizes for this. I've got this one for the RZR, and I've got one that's smaller for the adventure bike for that camping, but it's basically a jump starter. Battery's dead. If you left your accessory key on or something's hardwired like your GPS or something like that and you accidentally kill your battery or the battery just takes a crap, this will jump start the RZR no problem. In fact, this is way bigger than I really needed. Bunch of different modes, tells you how much charge it has. And these things are kind of amazing as far as how long it holds a charge. I bought this back in November and charged it up and haven't touched it since, haven't used it. And I took it out. We have a trip coming up this next weekend. I just want to make sure it was charged, and it was still 100%. And that was, you know, what is that? Almost 4 months at least ago that I bought this and charged it initially, and it's still fully charged. You can also plug in USB stuff and charge your, you know, drone batteries or GoPro batteries and stuff like that. It's got a USB in and a USB out. So what else is up here? Some gloves. I think I have 2 pairs of gloves in here, some leather gloves. These are just some cheap Home Depot gloves. If you're winching stuff or if you're working on things, it's not a bad idea to protect your hands. Obviously the clutches get really hot, so if you blow a belt, it's nice to have some gloves so you don't have to wait, you know, 20 minutes for your clutches to cool down before you can change your belt or have to pull a clutch or something like that. It's just like a dust mask, climb dust mask deal for your mouth and neck if you're following people. Haven't used that yet. I've got some tape, some super glue, some baggies just in case I need them. So little stuff. So up top you have, with this bag you got 2 zippers. Kind of bugs me to have this piece in the middle. I would have preferred just one zip and whole flap, but you got 2 sides to this and a little bit of a pain. But so this first bag in here, I'm gonna have my main tools, pretty much all the tools that I need to fix stuff. So first bag, this is basically, I mean, all the tools in here is pretty much all I need to take, even though I take more in the trailer. There's a lot of tools in here. So kinds of different size pliers, screwdrivers. This is just the odds and ends, hand tools, knives, cutting stuff. This bag I'm gonna have all my opening wrenches. I got some extensions. So every kind of wrench I might need for every nut and bolt on the RZR is pretty much in this bag. More gloves. I got some rags in case you need rags for something. I've got bigger sets of pliers. Use the heck out of this thing too. Some of my best tools are these guys right here. Some long screwdrivers. I have some zip ties, some bungee cords, tape, electrical tape. This is just a larger, this is actually an old torque wrench that's just kind of junky, but I don't use it to torque stuff anymore, but it's just a big 3/8 wrench if I need a little bit more leverage than the smaller one that's in that bag. Get that zipped up and out of the way. Next we have bungee cords. I do use these bungee cords actually. I throw them over the top of this bag before we take off. So not all of these are just in the bag. I actually do use some of them to tie this stuff down in the cooler and all that. Some toe straps. Always a must to have some toe straps. So I don't know why necessarily I carry two, but I do. I don't think I've used this one over here ever, but just in case, I do have a backup toe strap. So maybe in case, I don't know why I carry two. Just in case you need two toe straps, I've got two toe straps. Two of these will go in the trailer toolbox, and I will carry at least one new belt on the RZR at all times while we're riding. So yep, I got fuses. I don't know again why I have so many, but I got all the fuses for the RZR. I've got jumper cables for that little jump starter I showed you earlier. I got a smaller ratchet strap. I have some tie downs in case something needs to go on top of the roof rack and I got to get back to camp. I got some dust masks. So that's that. Fuses, belts, jumper cables, masks, tie downs, ratchet straps. Again, spare belts, at least one on the car, two in the trailer. I've got a 3-way strap. The 3-way strap is for the roof rack here. You can see those 3 tie down spots, and my 5th tire goes up there, so the spare tire rides on the top, and it's got a nice 3-way strap to keep that tire cinched down. I will keep this when we're in Glamis or somewhere in the bag. It's got a little 3/8 socket on it, and that way if I break a belt, and I've only broken one belt, but I can put an extension on this and get that clutch cover off in just a minute, 30 seconds. I just hate taking those out by hand. It takes forever. So yeah, so I'll throw this in the bag as well. And that's it. I do have the stock A-arms for the car. I replaced upper and lower A-arms, high clearance and forward offset for the larger tires that we use. So these have maybe 100, maybe 150 miles on them. They were pretty brand new when I took them off. So when we go to Utah and we're gone for 12 days of just camping and riding, and we're out in the middle of nowhere, I'll actually take these on that long trip. I'll put them in the bed of the truck again and just forget about them, just out of the way. And if something happens, I've got a whole set of the front A-arms to put back on, because like I said, they're forward offset. If I damage one beyond repair, I can't just throw one on. I'd have to replace the whole set to put both tires back in the same spot. So I'll put those in the bed of the truck and take them with me just in case on those long trips. For Glamis and short trips and stuff that we're doing around home, obviously I'm not going to carry these around. It's ridiculous, but I'll put them in the bed of the truck when we leave on our big annual vacation trip. So I take this stays in the trailer just in case. I would hate to have to do it out on a trip, but I do take this with me in case the carrier bearing goes out. For now, it's just staying in the trailer, and when I get maybe 1,500 miles or something like that on the car or on the RZR, I'll go ahead and just install this, but I just didn't feel a need to do it right now. RZR doesn't have a whole lot of miles and hours on it yet, so I'm not too worried about it. So what we have in here is I have a Tusk scissor jack. It's pretty cheap. I think it was like 60 bucks on their website, or 50 bucks, or it just wasn't that bad. So this is the little jack that I take. I've had to use it once when I broke the axles on the back of the RZR, and at camp this actually did fine. Stock tie rods. So I do keep these. These are, again, these were super new when I took them off. I replaced the ones on the RZR. Again, I'll go over that in the overview video, but I do take these as well, just in case the ones I have supposedly, I mean, are really hard to break, but rather have it and not need it. So I do take these. All the stock radius rods, upper and lower for the back. I keep these in a bag too, just in case I bend or break the Zollinger racing ones I have on there. And I've got two lightly used OEM style axles, rear axles. See, these are two rear axles I keep for the back. I have one brand new front axle, which is still in a box. That was a Tusk axle, and that's in the trailer currently, but I carry two rears and one front because I don't drive a whole lot in four-wheel drive, so I'm not too worried about the front. And I just recently upgraded the rear axles on the RZR. That's pretty much it in this bag. So you got a jack, radius rods, tie rods, and axles, rear axles. So that's what's in this bag, and I do take this, again, on big trips and small trips. So I've heard of people having problems with the primary clutch. Again, I haven't had any issues with it, but it's one of those things that if it did go out, you know, it's gonna ruin a weekend. So I'm not gonna mess around with that. I'd rather just have it, again, not need it, than need it and not have it when we're out there. So if we're in Glamis and I blow it up, or if we're in Utah and I blow it up, I can just swap this out. Really easy to do. You really don't need a spring compressor for the primary. It's not that hard to actually to do without one. So when you buy one of these, it just doesn't come with the weights and doesn't come with the spring. So you'll have to do those two things from your original clutch. So again, easy to swap over, but I will be carrying a brand new primary clutch on our trips, just in the event that I blow mine up. So any of the friends that I have will tell you I'm probably the most prepared person for any situation that might or might not happen. So I've just always liked being able to get myself out of a situation. Again, like I said, a lot of the stuff we do, we're by ourselves out in the middle of nowhere, and it's up to me, if I break something, to get us back to the truck or back to camp or home. So I won't be able to rely on help. So I'd rather be familiar with all this stuff and take all the parts. And if I have a belt failure or radius rod break or A-arm fail or clutch blow up, I can do all those things out without having to rely on anybody. I can get all that stuff done. So future video, I'm going to be doing a billet fuel rail and steel braided fuel hoses. I was gonna do that before this next trip next weekend, but I just don't have time. Got too much other stuff to do, but that will be in a future video here in the next couple of weeks.